Okay, guys, so I want to do a quick review for GU trade that we took this week. So it's simple, okay? I will say, should I use the word simple? But what I want you to know is that I start my analysis from higher time frame, and as you can see, I am on a weekly time frame right now. Especially on Monday or Sunday night, I do this. I want to have an idea of what price could do for the week. So this candle is not actually here as at this time. So we had something like this. So we had something like this. So this is what I did. I identified this sweep. I know you know by now that I'm a big fan of sweep now. When markets take previous high or previous low and form a rejection candle, so I see that as a sweep. Okay, some people call it turtle soup. Okay, turtle soup. So that's a very important point for me. Why am I looking at this point? I'm looking at this point as the place where price is coming from. Okay, so price is actually coming from here, and the simplest place for price to get to is this place here, this other low. Okay, this other low here. So this place will be my target. This place will be my target based on the weekly time frame. So I'm trying to create a bias for the week, for the new week. Okay. Sorry, it's midnight now, so I'm trying to create a bias for the week that price is coming down to this place. Okay, to this place. That's all for the weekly time frame. That's the only thing I can see. The origin of the trend, this candle from year to year is a good downtrend on a lower time frame. So now this is the origin of this trend, and this is hopefully where it's coming to. So oftentimes I would have done this and send it to you so that you can now have a bias or a direction for the way. Let's look at the daily time frame. Now looking at the daily time frame, so we can still see that this is the origin, this is where price is coming from. So now from here we're expecting price to come down to this place. As simple as that. Okay, as simple as that. Now what again can I see? So I wouldn't want to confuse you, but let's just leave that. Some things I am seeing, but that's not really going to do any benefit to you right now. So yes, that's it. Then I'm seeing a level here. This is another block, but the reason why I'm not trying to identify it is because I don't want to bore you. Okay, because this is really not the reason why I took the trade. The trade is still in line with our system. Okay, but it's not bad if we note that. What's happening? Okay, so that's it. Now what we are expecting is for price to what, to come down, but price will not just come down just like that. It has to do some things before coming down. Okay, what are the things? There's a trend line here, but we'll go to 4 hour time frame so that we can see it well. So for the daily bias, for the weekly bias, and the daily bias for the entire week from that Monday to Friday, I'm expecting price to sell, but I wouldn't just want to sell anywhere. I want to sell at strategic levels. So let's look. Okay, so I have to stop this. Okay, so you see what happened? Got to that order block and sell. But this is not the reason why it's this is not the only major reason why it's sold. Let's look at 4 time frame. So don't forget, this side, from this side here, is not there at all. This is Monday. So let me put a line there to demarcate it. So Monday. Okay, so all these places are not. So anything from here to all these places, they are not in the this thing, in the market, all this place. So this 4 hour time frame. So we assume that this is not there. Let me hide it. So this is it like this. So coming on Monday and you see something like this, what will you want to do? You identify this is a downtrend. Okay, so we are also looking for opportunity to sell. So what I did was to apply a higher time frame trend line. So higher time frame trend line, which was like this. Let me put it for. So which was like this. Okay, so I identified that place, and if you remember my first screenshot, I said I want price to pull back to this place before selling. I should have it here. Let me look for it. So that it won't look as if I'm just saying it. So this is when I enter the trade. I want to, when I drop the projection. So you see it. This is it here. Let me make it big. So this is where I dropped the projection. Said price was actually getting here. I think that was early morning of Monday. I said I'm expecting price to react off this place before selling. Okay, so it's not like I'm capping. Now good, so I was expecting price to come here before selling. So what I did was, also after plotting the trend line, I also tried to identify a psychological level that is around here. Okay, so you'll notice that I've deleted all my psychological level. I only use the one that is relevant to the current price, so that my chart will not look clustered or messy. So coordinates, so psychological level there. So you can see how everything is aligning. So price retrace back to this place Monday night into Tuesday morning. Then this is where I actually start looking for opportunity to sell based on higher time frame. Okay, for the lower time frame, I'm still going to show you how I did the lower time frame entry, but I actually had a early entry based on higher time frame confluence or idea that I have here right now, before adding on before using the lower time frame strategy. Okay, so what happened was, for those that remember, when price came to this psychological level and this trend line touch, which are very important levels for me, and then we are looking at the fact that price came to this order block, this daily order block here, tap into it. So I was consciously looking at time, because if you see my time zone is set to New York, you see my time zone is set to New York. So I was consciously looking at the New York open in between, which is 9 o'clock. So I wanted price to come sweep this previous high, which is Monday, which is London, then sell. But it did not happen. But again, I looked at it very well. If you look at 1 hour, you see that that is a double top there. Okay, a double top pattern, which is our entry, entry pattern stuff. So I had that in mind. But another thing that you must keep in mind is that when you have established buyers on higher time frame, and you already know that for the week I'm looking for sell, and this is the level that I'm looking for that sell, you have to go to lower time frame to make sure the market shifts. Okay, there's a change of character or a shift from the temporal uptrend to start the downtrend. So this is what I did, and I went to my our lower normal time frame. And don't forget, price was around this place. This is the double top here. So I think I even shared this. I plotted a trend line. I think I even went as low as 15 minutes, if I remember now. I plotted a trend line. So I needed price to break out of this trend line, which price did. Okay, which price did, then came back up again. So I knew that was a confirmation for me when price came down to this place to give me this double top. So this was where I had my first entry. This place here, I had my first entry here, and I think I put my stop loss because it was actually on a higher time frame stuff. So I put my stop loss this place, this eye here. So I think so. I remember I put it there. Then I was actually targeting the entire low of the week. Okay, the entire low of the week, which is this place, which is this place. But that's actually a swing trade, right? It's a swing trade. But again, I'm just explaining what I did and what my thought process were when I was doing everything. So that was the original first entry. So I knew that once, of course, price can go against me, normal, all these things can happen and I'll still lose, right? Which is normal. But if it goes in my favor, I knew that the next day or the day after, because this is actually 2 hour time frame, I will be looking for normal setup and normal entry on a lower time frame based on our system psychological level trend line. Though I can't use this higher time frame trend line and say I want to go and be looking for entry and using it on a 15 minutes time frame. So that's what I did. So when I entered here, I think I had the trade. This trade was, I think, Asian session thereabouts. I can't really recall, but it's dance and dance. It's 2 hours time frame, so it was slow. I was ready to be patient for it. Okay, I was ready. Now you will notice that my entries can be in 2 hours or in 30 minutes. If it's on the lower time frame, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. If it's on a higher time frame, you'll see me on 2 hours or 4 hours. Any trade I take on 2 hours or 4 hours, just know that it's going to take a long period of time, 2-3 days, even 4 days before we get to TP or hit stop loss. But if I'm entering a trade on 15 minutes or 30 minutes time frame, just know that max at the end of the day or midnight of before the next day, we are done, or max the next day, we are out of that trade. Okay, that one is an intraday trade. But if I'm taking trade, if you see me taking trade on 2 hours and 4 hours, just know that it's a swing trade. Okay, I'm holding it for a long period of time. So let's quickly continue. I don't want this video to be too long. So now that was my first entry. Okay, that was my first entry. So let's delete this. Just have that in mind, that that trade was running. Okay, so to show that I'm not capping, actually I have the screenshots here. Hey, you see, this is the screenshots of when I say I'm expecting price to break out of this place before forming the pattern and selling. So thank God I shared all this. Thank God. So that it won't be like, Daniel. So now I want to show you my first entry. Okay, so this is the first entry. You can see it here, that double top. You can see this is the first entry. That's it here. Then I think I added on yes, I added on here. The reason why I added on here was because I adjusted my stop loss from that level to the top of the double bottom. Sorry, double top. So I adjusted my stop loss from here to this place, to the top of this double bottom. Then I added on to the trade. So it's not like I exposed myself to more risks. No, I added on, I reduced my stop loss and I added on to the trade, still risking the same thing. Then the third entry, which is this one, is the lower time frame entry, which I'm going to show you now, which is the one you should be more interested in. Okay, forget the higher stuff, higher time frame stuff. So let's do that. Okay, now on the what's it called, so let's delete this. So just know that I have that running already. Okay, this same setup also on EU. Everything happened on EU too, the same. But there's one thing that, okay, let me finish this first. So trend lines, order block, psychological level, double top, you see, confluences aligning. telling me the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. So now when I think the next day or the day, this second day after my first entry, I was now looking for setup in line with the trend, okay, which is downtrend. The new trend is downtrend now. Price has broken out of this trend line here. So this trend line here, right? So a new trend has started. Go to 15 minutes. I think I'll have to delete all this so that it won't create confusion. Don't forget, this is our higher time frame trend line. Okay. So this is the beginning of a new trend, right? So this is the beginning of a new trend, and I plotted. So I plotted my trend line from here like this. So this is where I actually entered, right? This is where I entered. But now listen carefully. Okay, so I had my trend line plotted down, and by that time everything was moving in my favor from my first trade entry. So I was looking at, okay, this is the beginning of a new day. That was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. So you can see entering a trade on Tuesday, and all the way from Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday before seeing normal. So if I didn't take the trade on a higher time frame, I'll definitely be waiting for this lower time frame on Thursday. Okay, so what I did was, firstly, there was a sweep. Okay, I was actually waiting for this sweep. I won't lie to you. I've identified all this liquidity here, and I was waiting for the sweep there. Okay, anytime you see me put TX, it means sweep or turtle soup. And if you look at the session, because time is very important, I look at time also. Time is very important. So that's New York session, beginning of New York session, 8 a.m. New York session, and then 2 will be London session. So all this happen in between London session. This is Asian session. So when New York session started, it sweep all this level, right? It sweep all this level. Then another thing that was there is psychological level. So you can see the psychological level there. So you see, everything I've taught you, actually there is a need for it, but if you don't practice, you won't get it. So you can see now that this is our normal strategy now. If I had not taken the higher time frame, I already have the higher time frame buyers that I'm expecting sell for the week. That one is established, and also from the higher time frame, we already have price moving from higher time frame trend line, higher time frame order block. Everything is just telling us sell, sell, sell. So now we come to the lower time frame. You just have to be patient. So if I had not taken this first trade, all I had to do is to be patient, to be patient, to be patient. This 15 minutes time frame, patient for the new day. So this day now started, right? I've plotted my trend line, identified my psychological level, and my sweep. Everything was in line. So immediately price came and pierced through. So I actually had a late entry, so I entered around this place here, around here. So I put my stop loss. I think I put my stop loss above here, this place here. So, and that was it. So I think I was targeting the previous, this low here. This was where I was targeting. Yes, I remember. So this was where I was targeting. Then for the other one, I think I was targeting, well, that does not matter though, but you get the point now. So that was how I entered the trade. For that day, it's delayed, and it went in my favor and stuff, and I was able to move all my stop losses from the previous entries on the higher time frame all to this place. All my stop loss was now in this place. So that has reduced my risks and everything. So by the next day, midnight of Nigerian time, price just starts going down, and it's a target. So this was the initial target here. So price it's the target, so you can see. So it's not something, I'm not doing something too complex and stuff. So for the higher time frame stuff, it might be complicated, but just use higher time frame for buyers. Where is price going to, and where is price coming from? Okay, this is now what I'll be looking for. Then you now go to lower time frame to look for confluences and reasons to take the trade in regards to your higher time frame buyers. That's what I did. I already had my buyers for sell, and now everything happened and I took my sell, and that's it. So I think I got out around, yeah. So I actually closed for my higher time frame entry. It was too hard, then lower time frame was too hard too. So I think I risked $100. I made 372, almost $400. Yes, so that's a trade. So that's it. If I have any question, just let me know. I don't want this video to be too long.